Good morning, everyone. We got pistons, and they are beautiful. There we go. These are from 12 bolt, and they are made by Ross. You look on Ross's website, they ain't on there. But you look on 12 bolt, they're there. So my guess is that 12 bolt has them made custom by Ross. And then I got his rods. And in a bit, I'm going to get into the differences here between the originals and the new ones. But for now, I'm boring the motor out. I don't want to do it for every video. So if you're interested in an in-depth description on how boring works, I'll put the link right here. Go ahead and watch that. It's me doing it on a Ford V10 because I do a lot of those. And then all I do is move that lever. And that's because I accidentally power faded it. But it's fine, I'm gonna hone it. So if you're interested in more of that, go ahead and watch that video. Put it in my V10 playlist if you want to see it. Well, I'm decking the block, and dang is it warped. Let's see if I can get good footage of this one. You can kind of see, but here we got really good contact, but for the whole length of the block there is no contact until the last 2 inches, and I've already taken 2/1000ths cut on it. So this thing was definitely in need of a deck. So we're gonna keep doing this thing. See, here we got good contact. It's making a really good cut. I actually did a really good job on setting the teeth. All 10 of them are working. It's hard to get to do, but I got them set within 2/10,000ths. And you can hear it's hardly cutting now. Just a little bit. Here it's hardly cutting at all. I'm going to stop my feed. I'm going to take it to the middle. And this is kind of a test. So I know I've already taken 3/1000ths off. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it until I hear stuff. So I've got 2/1000ths, 3/1000ths more until I get a good cut. So I know it has about 6-7/1000ths of warp in the block. I'm gonna, once I get this decked and I get it all honed, I'm gonna pay close attention to this, and we're gonna see if we need to line hone the block, which I'm sure I was gonna do anyways, but I'm gonna pay extra careful attention to that one. We're getting all set up to hone this thing. I got it decked. It's looking real good. Nice and flat. I had to take 7/1000ths off of it to get it flat, but it's looking very nice. Now this one I am going to be torque plate honing, because keyboard warriors will have an opinion saying everything needs to be honed with a torque plate. Now most of the stuff that I do is not, because I don't do high performance all that often, but this one is. I am doubling the horsepower. I am going to use a torque plate. 12 bolt right there. You can rent their torque plate for about $150, something like that. 50 for the rental, 50 for shipping, 50 for shipping it back, or whatever it is. It's 150 total. And then when you select bolts or studs, and then these are used studs. I'm curious on how many times they've been used. But it's going to work just fine for this purpose. I've got new ARP studs for it, but I'm going to use his to torque them. And I'll get the bushings and nuts in. torque spec on this one is 3570, 110. So I've got one honed, but just for illustration purpose, this is the effectiveness of a torque plate. Now I know I had a Toyota motor a while ago, and I got a lot of keyboard warriors on me for not torque plate honing it. That wasn't ridiculous high horsepower. This one, we're doubling it. So there's a difference. If I go to this bore, now I've already got this set for my final dimension. Let's see here. It's tricky doing this one-handed. But there we go. 2.5. If we flip this so that it's measuring from where the bolts are, 2. That's 2,000. So that just gives an illustration. From here to here was 2.5. From here to here was 2. So that's 5 10,000ths of warp putting a torque plate on. Nailed it. Look at that. Boom. Alright, that one's good to go. We're going to move on to the next. As far as rotating assembly on this one, aka pistons, rods, crank, that stuff, rings, I got all of that from 12 Bolt, and Tom's a pretty cool guy. Talked to him a couple times. He's emailed me a few, and really nice guy, really smart. So a lot of the stuff that I bought from him, and I'm just going to kind of show, because he's got the information on his website if you look, but nothing better than a video showing those parts that I purchased, because I like videos. Videos are great. And so here we go. This is the piston that we're putting in here, and it's a nice dish forged piston, real shiny. It's being a shame that it's going to get all oily and gross, and really nice inside in there. And so the piston itself is actually made by Ross, and what I assume is, when you look on Ross's website, this isn't on there, so it must be custom made for 12 Bolt, which, good for you. I don't know what the story is on all of this, but it looks pretty nice. This is the original. Put them side by side, and holy cow, that is quite the difference there. And what's the main difference? If you look at this pin is just a little bit higher. And if you want to look at the specs, you can. It's on his website, rod lengths and all that. So it's just a little bit longer. On the top of my head, I want to say 400 thousandths. So the rod itself is longer. This piston's huge. It's heavy. It's old technology from the late 60s. And we're going to get to weights in just a little bit. Show you the weights and how that's all going to change. Rods itself. Here's the stock rod. Here's our new H-beam rod. Putting them side by side, you're going to see that there is a length difference there, because that piston's shorter, need a longer rod. And yeah, very nice looking piece. And this is a Molnar rod with ARP hardware in it. Looks nice. So as far as rings, the difference we've got here is we've got a total seal set. They're going to take rings that are going to be of well, they're custom. So custom made for this piston. And they're going to be a smaller ring. It's going to seal better onto that bore. So that's kind of also what a big difference is. I mean, if you look at them, the oil is about the same, but your compression ring and all of that, the top ring is, oh man, just kind of a quick look, it's half the width, if you can see it on the screen there. The second ring, maybe not quite half the thickness, but I'd say a good 2/3 of the thickness, and the oil ring is pretty much almost the same, I'd say. But thinner rings mean better seal. I'm not a big fan of smaller rings for the sake of they're easier to break as you put them in, things bend easier, but they do work better in every way. They seal better, and they're lighter, and so that's just the way of the future. All the new stuff has smaller rings for a very good reason. So let's move on to the weight part of it. Now here we got our original 668 grams. $690 grams. So we're 20 grams. 690. 670. So we're 20 grams heavier on the new one. At least this is rotating weight. So it's not going to be, it's more of the rotating weight that's where your big difference is. So it's not going to affect much. Now, you're 20 grams heavier, but for the strength, 20 grams is nothing. It really isn't. But the strength of an H-beam rod, that's where it's at. So this is going to be a good rod. Not much of a weight difference there. But here we go. This is the good part. Stock piston is 708 grams. New piston, 500 grams exactly. So that's a 208 gram difference there, right? Did I get that number right? Yeah, 208 grams. So that's the difference between these two. So 208 gram difference on that piston. So there are the numbers on it, and when you figure 200 grams a piston less, that's a lot, especially on that reciprocating weight moving up and down. So you take that away, you add that, you multiply that by 6, because 6 pistons, you're looking at a weight savings on your reciprocation by 2.5 pounds. 2.6 if you really want to be picky. But 2.5 pounds, that's a lot. So you're going to get way faster acceleration, less weight moving up and down, and then you're also going to be able to go faster with those RPMs because less weight, you're not going to break things as easy. So there it is. That's the weight difference and what we're working with here. And these pistons are 40 over. He's got 40, 60, and 65 block saver. I wish he would have 20 over, because I actually had a standard block, but that's just what he has. I asked him about it. He's like, no, I just do the 40 over, and typically when you have a block like this is old technology, or 60 years old or whatever, you're not going to find a standard bore. The guy got me a unicorn of an engine. And in talking with Tom, he said that my stock cast crank is going to be good enough to handle it, and that's going to work out good. Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching my videos. I'm getting closer to 500 subscribers. It's been fun doing this stuff. Thank you very much. See you next time.